Hemos cumplido un sueño que parecía imposible: jugar con la secuela de ese legendario Flashback que nos asombró a principios de los 90. Durante nuestra visita al Microids Day de París, hemos podido probar en exclusiva para España Flashback 2, que llegará a todas las plataformas a final de año y está siendo creado por Paul Cuisset, el padre del juego original. Hemos hablado con él para que nos dé las claves de este esperadísimo regreso.
We have seen a tiny demo in which I saw that there is like more narration in the game and also more humor, like the previous game was. It has a different tone. What's your approach with the tone of the game?
I think that I wanted to have something more closer to the player, and the tone is, of course, less dramatic than in the first one. Also because at that time it was also difficult to tell a story. I think it was very limited. It was not so easy to drive the story. And in this Flashback 2, I think it was important to have something more optimistic. And even it's something different from the image that we had in the past or the future. Then I wanted to keep that in Flashback to when I was young. The future looked like something bright, and even if there was something quite dystopic in it, we had the idea that the hero is a hero, and today it's not the same, and we have more heroes that are more tortured and more complex. But I wanted to keep the original idea of a hero that I had in that time.
The approach, the gameplay and visual approach of the game is like keeping the 2D kind of gameplay, but with some sort of depth. You can move in 3 dimensions now. How did you decide to go that way? Did you manage to go full 3D at some time, like in Fade to Black, or?
Yeah, I had a lot of thought about that, and the decision was quite difficult. But I wanted to keep both worlds. And having the side view was important because it's in the DNA of the game, I think. But I wanted to also not to be limited to one plane, something that gives a different experience from the side-scrolling game that we are used to.
And at the time, the first Flashback was like a revolution in the technical aspect of the graphics and the animation. Are you trying to create some other level of revolution with this one?
We also are working on the animation. So we use techniques different. The Flashback was difficult to play sometimes because it was step. The animation had to finish before continuing, and we wanted to have a different approach. So we use systems that can interpolate a lot and can help the player and even empty the dynamic of the animation. Giving some controls to the player, and it was quite a battle that is difficult to achieve because traditionally you have to decide between a nice animation and a nice control, and it's the challenge that we had to face in the game because we want to keep something that is nice to see as the first one, but is easy to control.
Do you feel that the game is going to be easier than the previous one? Because someone thought it was like pretty hard.
I hope that it will be challenging, but not as, of course, as hard as the first one. Just to be fair with the players, I think it's important, and it was not the case in the first one. Part in the game where it was very finishing, and we try to have something more accessible. But I hope that the challenge can be kept quite high. So it's definitely a game for gamers.
But what kind of players do you feel they will be attracted to the game? Is this a game for all school players or for a wider approach?
Not necessarily, but I think it can be a game for people who like being told a story. It's an adventure game. We had given a lot of effort in the storyline and how it tells the universe that we play. But also, I think people that like to play and have some challenge in gameplay will be, I hope, satisfied with this.
Ya lo veis, hay mucha ambición y ganas de crear algo que haga justicia a la revolución que supuso Flashback. Ya podéis ver nuestro avance de Flashback 2 en hobbyconsolas.com y YouTube, y os informaremos de todas las novedades sobre este esperadísimo regreso. No lo olvidéis.